happening right now, police, is that my eyes, my nose, and my throat are burning. And that is because it seems police have now decided to fire tear gas to try and disperse the crowd that was effectively looting and waging an attack on this depot here. This depot is an alcohol depot, and the air is thick with the smell of what seems like sulfur, and that is, of course, the tear gas. What is happening now as well is that the crowd seems to be gathering its strength, and the protesters, wave after being dispersed, being shot at by rubber bullets, they seem to get others to join and make the next charge. Police have been saying that the situation is quite volatile, and they have admitted that they have their hands full. And it seems as if these running battles are set to continue, Koli. Now, if Senzo can just show you down the street, you could see here driving, heading into the township. Residents have barricaded entrance into the township. But vehicles, I must say, are being allowed in and out. I'm not sure what type of vehicles, but it would certainly seem as if people who reside in the area are being allowed to pass through. The only people who are not being allowed in are the police and Metro Police officials and officers. Officers, though, are saying that they will keep a very, very close eye on developments, because it would seem that this depot is the target for the protesters. And this would speak to a statement that was released by the provincial police department, saying that they are concerned about the infiltration into these protests by a criminal element. And when they say a criminal element, you would just suggest that what would a depot full of alcohol have to do with what the organizers of this particular protest are complaining about, which would be the imprisonment of former President Jacob Zuma. And many of those youngsters, it must be said, are heavily inebriated. In fact, earlier on, we passed one of the protesters who had managed to break through a barrier fence and gain access, and he had helped himself so much to the brew here that he was happily passed out on the floor as all the action was happening around him. Stun grenades going off around him, rubber bullets is not something you can leisurely sleep through. So it would certainly show you what are the developments happening here on the ground.
My goodness, just what you're describing, Tumaole, it boggles the mind. Talk to us then about the situation in Durban. The understanding is that you were there a little earlier. Right now, of course, you're reporting from Pinetown.
Yes, Koli, I was in Durban a little earlier. In fact, it's a totally different atmosphere there. We drove around with my colleague Senzo, and when we were driving around, there was no sign of any particular agitated groups of people, protesters, or anything to suggest that it was anything other than another day in the metro, in the CBD. So people are going about their business. People were using public transport nodes, and people were going into stores. Of course, what is of concern, Koli, is the fact that despite us entering this particular wave of the coronavirus outbreak, there were a lot of people that we saw who were not wearing masks. And in terms of social distancing, some people standing together in groups, having a leisurely smoke at the corner, and this would certainly ring a lot of alarm bells. However, in terms of any violent outbreaks, that has not happened in the central business district.
Tumaole live for us in the area of Pinetown, that's in KwaZulu-Natal.